Hello guys, how are we doing? Welcome to this special edition of my Budgeting Live. Today we're going to be talking about Don't Pay UK campaign. I think it's really important to get some proper information out and to put aside some of this scaremongering that's going around at the moment all over social media about the consequences. Should you do this? So I felt that this was rather important, and because my live is cancelled for Friday because I won't be here, I felt today was the best time to do this because I wanted to get it out and not leave it over the weekend to fester. Okay, so Don't Pay UK is a campaign that it's a grassroots campaign that is set to put pressure on the energy companies to make them drop the payments down to affordable rates. Okay, that's the bottom line of it. All right, so I'm going to actually read from their website. Down in the description below is the link to the Don't Pay UK campaign. So if you want to have a look at it yourselves, you can go and have a look at that. This is very, it's big stuff. All right. So what is Don't Pay? Millions of us won't be able to afford our energy bills this winter. We can't let that happen. Don't Pay exists to bring all of us together, build our leverage and fight back. We're building our strength by mobilizing for a non-payment strike. This means getting together everyone who wants to challenge this rigged system. It's for everyone you know who can't or won't pay. We'll link you up with others in your local area and we'll build this together street by street, state by state, and city by city. When 1 million people pledge to say they'll stop paying their bills, we'll call the strike. We'll force the government, market regulator Ofgem, and energy companies to come to the table and negotiate with us collectively. Sign up to get involved with organizing Don't Pay in your local area. Now, what I might do is see if I can share my screen. Give me a second. Share the screen. Okay. No, entire screen. There we go. Right. Okay. How's that going? Right, here we go. All right. So this is what is Don't Pay. I've just read that bit. Okay. What we're striking for. Don't Pay is a grassroots movement demanding a fair price for energy for everyone. This is what we're striking for. Okay, that's the bottom line of all of this. Okay, that's what they're doing. Now, number one is to reverse the energy cap price cap to April 2021 levels, because people at that point weren't able to pay properly. There was still immediate danger for a lot of families, hundreds of thousands of families before any of this kicked off, let alone this now. Okay, so that's what we want to take it back to, April 2021, right? End all enforcement of prepayment meters. Prepayment meters, for anyone who doesn't know, okay, is a thing here in the UK. It's not done in any other country that I know of. Hi, Donnie, how are you, sweetheart? There used to be 50p meters when I was a kid, where you had my Auntie Susan used to have a bag of 50p pieces, and she used to have to fill the meter with 50p's, and there would be a man come around on a Monday morning to empty the meter, which was great. That wasn't a problem until it was full, and then it was a problem because she'd be halfway through cooking, Sunday dinner, and we'd have to sort of like wiggle and shake the thing, or take a couple of 50p's out and try and put them back in, kind of thing, that sort of thing. But sixpences saved for my dad for the car parking meters. Yeah, I know, right? So what we have now is a prepayment card, which is very similar to if you have a prepaid mobile phone. So if you don't have credit, you don't have your phone. So here, if you don't have credit on a prepayment meter, you don't have electric or gas, period. All right. And unfortunately, this means that a lot of people are paying a higher rate, which they shouldn't be because it is a prepayment meter. They charge you a higher rate of electric and gas for using that because it's to pay for the extra infrastructure that's needed to run the system. Basically, that's the bottom line of it. Okay, so people who think that they're getting a better deal because they're on prepayment meters aren't actually. They're actually paying a premium already. So the problem is that prepayment meters tend to be in probably 90% of council houses. They're becoming more popular in rentals, so that the next tenant doesn't have to take on any issues, or the landlord doesn't have to deal with any issues of unpaid bills. So a lot of landlords are actually going for this whole prepayment meter thing, which is not fun. It's not fun. And, I mean, they tend to run out of electric at the times you really, really don't want them to, like just before dinner on a Sunday night, or, when on a bank holiday or something like that, or the night before payday. It used to happen to us all the time. It was always the night before payday. So what they want to do is end all enforcement of prepayment meters. The other thing they do is if you don't pay your bills, they put in a prepayment meter. You end up having to put an extra amount into the meter every week. And they'll take that as part of payment for your next, for the money that you owe. Prepayment meters mean that the poorest in society pay the most for their energy and are automatically cut off if they can't afford it. This simply cannot continue, and these devices in the higher tariff paid by the poorest must be abolished. For those who want to keep prepayment meters for budgeting reasons, these remaining meters should be on the cheapest, not the most expensive tariff. And I absolutely agree with this. Number 3, no one cold this winter. Now, with the, hey, Scott, how are you? With the new tariff coming in on the 1st of October, which we're looking at a 73 to 77% rise in utilities fees, it's going to put people who weren't necessarily struggling too much. They were comfortable, but it's going to put them in a position where they've actually got to tighten their belts as well and look at things. There've been there's been some research into what the new tariffs are going to look like, and for people who are paying something like maybe £1,600 a year for their electric and gas are now looking to be paying nearly £4,000, which is ridiculous, because who's got £300 a month to pay for electric and gas? It's just ridiculous. And not only that, but they're looking at another price rise in January as well, which is just going to decimate people, absolutely decimate. An emergency social energy tariff is essential to prevent people dying from cold this winter. It shouldn't cost the same price to heat up a tin of beans as it does to heat up your swimming pool. Emergency price banding for energy this winter will mean ordinary working class people will pay less per unit for their energy. Similar to the tax system, the richer you are, the more you pay. I'm not going to get into that. I could say some things here, but I'm not going to. But I get the idea. We also demand that cheaper energy bans are implemented for community assets like pubs, religious buildings, schools, and community centres. We cannot allow the energy crisis to tear the heart out of our communities this winter. That's absolutely right. We can't. There are actually schools that are discussing having a 3 day week, 3 or 4 day week, because they may not be able to afford the electric to keep the place warm for the kids, or the electric and gas to keep the kids warm and to keep the lights on, basically. So yeah, that's pretty shocking, not gonna lie. All right, now, okay, we're gonna go through when we strike. So this is classed as a payment strike. So it is a strike of people who refusing to pay their energy bills. Now, whether it had been that people were going to cancel the direct debits, but we'll go into this and just have a really quick look at what they're saying. So when we strike, if the government and energy companies refuse to act by the 1st of October, then we strike. Together, we'll enforce a fair price. When 1 million people are on board, they're not willing to do this unless there's 1 million people on board, okay? Because they need the collective amount of people to support this, okay? Because otherwise, what's the point? If 10,000 people do it, it's not going to make that much of a difference. But if 1 million people do it, it's going to stop them from being able to have consequences on the people refusing to do it. Okay, so it's a last resort, but by striking together, we'll make it impossible for the government and energy companies to ignore us or effectively pursue us individually for not paying. There are similarities to the successful opposition to the poll tax, which is what we call council tax now. 17 million people refused to pay and supported and defended each other in their communities to make it impossible to enforce. Like the poll tax, energy price rise affects us all. Today, more than 25 million households pay for gas and electricity, and every single person will be impacted by prices tripling in just 12 months. And it is a triple. It's wow. It's just bonkers. Who can strike? Everyone can support this. You can start spreading the word with friends, family, and neighbors. Link up with your local Don't Pay group and pledge to withhold payment for at least 1 million others. Now, they're very stressful on this point that they will not do this unless there's 1 million people have pledged to do it. Okay? If you're on a prepayment meter, we know you're not able to withhold payment without your supply being cut off. Okay, so nobody wants anyone's supply cut off. All right, nobody wants that. The idea is to keep your supply on. You can still sign up and help in your community. We're all fighting for affordable energy for all. This also means a future where no one is on an expensive prepayment meter against their will. The aim isn't just to strike for the sake of it. By building overwhelming strength, by acting together in our millions, we can make it clear the government must act to make energy affordable for all. But if they don't, we'll be ready to strike and force them to do it. Perfect. Right. So, what you need to know about striking. Okay, so we're going to go through that in a sec. I'll just check on chat. Okay, just popping the kettle on. I have milk and two, please. Yeah, so what we're going to look at now is what you need to know about striking. Okay. We'll only strike when we get 1 million pledges. We'll have enormous strength in numbers, but it's still important to know what the potential risks of non-payment could be. Now, if these guys you're getting your sewing done, awesome. If these guys were just a bit of a bunch of cowboys trying to stir up a bit of trouble, they wouldn't be putting this in. Okay, these guys are serious. They've been thoughtful about what they're doing. And they're doing it in a way that it will work as long as everybody gets on board with it. Okay. We'll only strike when we get 1 million pledges. We'll have enormous strength in numbers, but it's still important to know what the potential risks of non-payment could be. If you're on a prepayment meter, you won't be able to withhold payment. You can still support the campaign, but non-payment will mean your supply being cut off. If you are a regular credit meter or have a smart meter, energy companies can only pursue payment within the regulations. It's already very difficult for them to disconnect your supply. Only around 10 households are disconnected every year due to non-payment. Okay? Now, your rights. First, your energy company must wait 28 days after a missed bill before they're allowed to do anything. Okay, so remember that. They'll write to you telling you you've missed a payment and that they may disconnect your supply, but they can't do that easily. They have to follow certain steps first. They must offer you a plan to repay the money owed. If you don't come to an agreement and you continue not paying, they may install a prepayment meter in your home. If you're on a regular credit meter, they may need to apply for a court warrant to enter your house. A smart meter may be switched to prepayment mode, but only after an assessment of your situation and the potential impact has been performed. Okay, so don't be in panic mode about any of this because it is what it is and they have to jump through hoops. Oh, Scott, thank you, darling. Striking has risks, but the greatest risk is if we let things carry on the way they are. The crisis is already here for millions of us, and things are going to get so much worse this winter. Already, every winter, thousands of people freeze to death in their homes because they can't afford to keep it warm. 2 million people can't afford heating or eating right now in the middle of summer. Millions more will be in poverty if the next energy bill hike goes ahead. Any potential repercussions of not paying will be experienced by those who can't pay this winter. If you can still afford to pay, the most effective action you can take to support those who can't is still to pledge to join the non-payment strike. Okay. So it says here, and it's got links to the Citizens Advice and Ofgem websites if you need to know more information about your processes. Now, the reason that I'm doing this, okay, now there are articles here as well. There are resources. So there's organizer guidebooks, there's printing out your own leaflets, postering and sticking, how to run a community store, all that kind of stuff. We don't need to worry about any of that today. I am more concerned with people having the correct information about this, okay? Because it is important. Now, will be interesting to see if they go after non-payers as far as court, when in UK, even theft, etc., is now treated as soft crime and not pursued in court. Okay, so court action has to be taken. That usually takes about 12 months to get to that process. Okay, so, and if there's 1 million people who haven't paid their bills, they're not going to pay for that. They're not going to pay it. They won't. Bottom line, they will not pay for 1 million people to go to court. The court system will turn around and tell them to bugger off, basically, because at the moment, there is still a massive backload in the courts from things that had to go through during lockdowns and stuff. We're already 2 years behind. Okay, so there is a lot of stuff going on, and there is not 1 second that they're going to want to have 1 million people in court over non-payment of bills. Okay. Hi, feathered friends. How are you, darling? Now, the reason that I've done this, okay, now I don't normally do stuff like this on my budgeting live, but I feel that it's very, very necessary, okay? It is a really good grassroots campaign. The links to it are below in my description. The reason that I've done this today is because all over social media, there have been mortgage brokers and ex-mortgage brokers and bankers and all sorts of people doing their little videos going, oh, don't pay your bills, because if you don't pay your bills, you won't be able to get a mortgage. Well, I'm sitting here going, well, I hate to say it, mate, but those of us who can't pay our bills, or those of us who are about to stop paying the bills, you know, don't care about the credit rating. They really do not give a shit about their credit rating, because 9 times out of 10 it's already up the wall anyway. Okay. Number 2 is they can't afford a mortgage. You can't get a mortgage in this country unless you're earning like 75 grand. Okay. Or something ridiculous. And you have like a 25% deposit. Okay. So if you're earning, the average was about 22 to 24,000 a year, there is absolutely no way that you're going to be able to afford even 160,000 mortgage. It's not possible, the way that it's all set up at the moment. So that is the least of your worries. Okay. And they're all out there going, oh no, but you don't want to do that because then you won't be able to get a mortgage. And it's like, can't get one anyway. What do we care? We're more worried. Even if we got a mortgage, we couldn't put the electric on, couldn't put the gas on, can't feed the family in it because we got the mortgage. So that is the reality of the situation right now. Okay. Court's too busy with the rich and famous and their petty disputes. Yeah, that's not here, hun. But yeah, pretty much. But the courts that are needed for this kind of thing are 2 years behind at the moment, still catching up from lockdown, stuff that had to be put off, courts all being shut down for a year, all that kind of stuff. So they are well and truly behind. Plus they've got all the new stuff coming in. They're not interested. They don't want to. Okay. At the moment, these guys have got sharing that. I think we could stop sharing that now. Let's get back to they've got 113,612 people who have pledged to strike. Okay. It's not a lot. It's only a 10th of it. Now, the problem that we have now is that we do have these people that are running around scaremongering people and saying, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that, and then you won't be able to do this and you won't be able to do that, when the reality is they probably never be able to do it anyway. So I don't know what they're worried about. It's like these people have no sense of the reality of what's going on at all. It's all right for them. They're mortgage brokers. They get a lot of money and they get a commission every time they get a mortgage through and all that kind of stuff. But, and they've got quite a decent wicket, to be honest. But for the average people that are going to be majorly affected by this, they don't have to worry about whether they've got a credit rating or not. The other thing is as well, if you're not paying your direct debit number one, you want to stop your direct debit anyway. Okay. Cancel it off. Direct debits are for estimated bills. Now, you might not be using half of what they're saying you're using. We weren't. We looked at them and we went, you're joking, right? Okay. So direct debit is only for those who have, an estimated bill. And yes, there are apps now and you can put in your own meter reading and all that kind of stuff and it can go out. But you know what? All they're going to do is hold that money and they're getting your interest when, because they normally take it out a day or two ahead of when they're supposed to. So then there's also companies that have been doing such as taking 2 lots out or 3 lots out at a time rather than just 1 lot out. And that is not okay. All right. So because it leaves people in an even worse situation. We've had major fights over the years with companies that have done things like that. At the moment, we're still trying to get hold of someone at British Gas who knows what the solar panels what the tariff is for the solar panels that we have. Doing good. Hope you and your husband are doing well. Just popped in real quick. Can't stay long. Busy day. No worries, darling. All good. It's not really chit chat, this one. This one's more of an informational thing for people in the UK who have been bombarded, really. And they're in a very bad situation right now. So, but that's okay. And I appreciate you being here. So, yeah, let me just have a bit of a drink. So, like I said, this isn't a really, really long live today, but I wanted to do this very, very special one because I wanted people to understand the Don't Pay UK campaign is actually something that will work as long as everyone gets behind it and doesn't get scared by the little reels and shorts and all of those kind of TikToks and all of that kind of stuff of these people going, oh no, you can't do that, because actually, yes, you can. They're just upset. They don't want you to, and it's amazing how all of it has started coming out very, very quickly in the last little while. So for us, we're going to be looking at doing it because they refuse to ring us back. They not only refuse to ring us back, but they've refused to write to us back. They've refused to put us through to people, the department that we need to talk to about the solar panels that are on the roof and to sort all that out. It's constant. It's constant. And we've been living here now for what, 3 months since the end of May. So, and we're still not being sorted out with what we need to do. So we won't be paying our bill because we don't need to. And if they have a problem with that, then we can take the steps that we need to go to Ofgem because they have refused to do what they needed to do as a company. So, yeah, we can do that. That's not an issue. And we will probably look at doing it in October, to be fair, because that's probably when the bill will be due. So it'll all coincide with it, which isn't a problem. But yeah, what they have said is they will not do this unless they have, a full million, at least 1 million people behind it, because it needs to be 1 million to get people's attention. 17 million stopped the poll tax and stopped it from the rises of it, and it was kept at a certain level and had to be kept at a certain level. These guys, they've got the right idea and it will work, but it just will take everyone to get behind it. Now, I don't normally take a political stance on stuff like this, not on my channel, not this channel anyway. But I will be with this because, frankly, one person does make a difference. Because if every person who thought they didn't make a difference got together, can you imagine how many people that would be? Everybody in my street, I can absolutely guarantee you, would turn around and go, oh, yeah, but what can I do? I'm just one person. Well, everyone in my street, that's probably 120 homes. That's 120 people who don't think that they could make a difference. But it takes, that's 120 more people that could go, well, we're not doing it. That's the difference. You're not one person anymore. You're 120. That's the way of looking at it. You've got to understand that you're not on your own. You're not on your own. I mean, already there's, and it keeps going up, right? So it's 113,614 at this point. Okay, and that's gone up like 3 times since I've been sitting here. So, and that's what, 30 minutes. Hi, Teresa. How are you, love? So yeah, this is the thing. This is what we want to do, is to get behind them on they've got all the links to their social media on there as well. So you can keep an eye on what's going on. If you wanted to, you could set up a thing in your local community and just see how many people that thought that they were you, who one person couldn't make a difference, or I'm just one person, it's going to make a difference. It is going to make a difference. So just, hang in there. All right. I know how tough it is. I do. Even though Tanny's working, even though we're a bit better off than we were, this electrical rise in October could wipe us out or make things very uncomfortable for us. And then in January, we'll be wiped out of all our spare income. So it is important. Okay. And I've been in the situation where you can't pay your bills and you've got to choose whether you're going to put the lights on, get a candle, or feed the kids. I've been there. That's why I do what I'm doing. I get emails. Okay. I've got to tell you guys, I get emails on a very regular basis from people since I've started doing these lives. Okay. The budgeting lives, about their situation and what they're in, and trying to talk to them about, what's possible for them to try and make things a little bit better. But some of the stories I'm getting, I'm telling you, I was sitting here not an hour ago talking to a friend of mine on a video chat because I was in bits, because I just received another one from a friend of mine whose husband's working. Pardon me, she's working. She's got 2 little kids and 2 older kids, and they're literally being wiped out by this. They were doing really well. They've had to sell one of their cars because, he had a car for work, she had a car for work. So they've now she's now having to get public transport to get to her job. And, their standard of living has dramatically dropped. And she doesn't know what to do because she's never been in that situation. And I'm sitting there, I was in bits because I didn't know what to, all I can do is share with you guys my experiences. I can share with you my truth. I can share with you the truth of the situation, like with this Don't Pay UK campaign and what the guys on TikTok and stuff are saying, and on Facebook and that sort of thing. I can give you that truth, but what I can't, I wish I could do more. I wish that I could go up to Parliament and turn around to them and say, for the love, just do something, because otherwise I can see unrest, serious unrest coming. And it scares me. It scares me a lot. We live in a city. We live in a city where there is a huge amount of people who are from poverty-riven homes or from the poorer ends of society. And it's awful. It really, really is awful. So, like I said, I do this because of you guys. I do it because of the emails I get. I do it because I have skills and knowledge that can help. I don't want it to ever seem like I'm trying to say, you're not trying hard enough, or you're not doing this, or you're not doing that. Do you know what I mean? I always do it from a place of love and caring and sharing. Because for me, if I just help one person, that to me, it makes it all worthwhile. Okay? So, yeah, there we go. So that's pretty much the truth behind Don't Pay UK. Please don't believe the news. Please don't believe the hype or those in the reels or any of that. If you want to get involved, the link is down in the description below. I am going to go for now because I have housework to do. And I just snuck this one here because I wanted to get it done before I go away on Friday. And yeah, so there we go. My emails are down below as well. If you guys want to get in touch, if you want to talk or anything like that, my inbox is always open. Please do email me if you feel the need to or want to. I'm more than happy to have a chat and, have a look at your situation and see what can be done, or try and point you in the right direction or something like that. Okay. So I'm going to go for now. I will see you guys later on. Have a really, really awesome rest of your day. I love you guys heaps. Blessings.